Hello everyone, I'm John Furrier. We are here in Paris, France for CUBE exclusive coverage of Raise Summit 2025. This is kind of like the inaugural year, technically second year, but it's a big show. Obviously AI going global. So many things to talk about on the international stage. Sovereign cloud, AI in use cases starting to be realized, and visibility on economics and value. Of course, the continuing explosion on the technology side, up and down the stack, from faster chips, systems, to actually great business logic at the application layer. Alison Wagonfeld is here. She's the CMO of Google Cloud. Big exhibit here, friend of the CUBE, CUBE alumni. Alison, great to see you. Thanks for coming on. We're in Paris.
We're in Paris.
Bonjour. It's morning here. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
I have to say, we've been covering Google Cloud really since the beginning. I remember when App Engine came out, the glory days, but watching the growth of this market, it's kind of a level setter because it's almost a next generation shift. Obviously, we talk about that a lot, but now you're starting to see kind of replatformization as a trend in security and everywhere else. IT is horizontal now. You're seeing parallel processing, all these tech trends, but the impact is clear. I mean, people say bubble, okay, it's very bubblicious in the sense of hype, but there's clear lines of sight into visibility on the value proposition of AI, and you guys had a slew of victories over the past, I'd say year, maybe go back 2 years, ecosystem, OpenAI, just the list goes on and on. You guys are really capturing the growth as CMO. It's good for you because you can put the story together. Give us an update on what some of the updates, because it's kind of our mid-year review. You guys have been doing great. Give us a quick update on the Google Cloud.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's great to be here in Paris. And yeah, last time I think I saw you was at our Cloud Next event in April in Las Vegas, so we get to hang out at all the fun places. And it's certainly been a tremendous growth trajectory. I think we first met and maybe did an interview in 2017 or 2018, and in many ways it felt like the early days, and we had always been focused on machine learning at Google, of course, and AI. Yeah. And I think in 2016 is when our CEO, Sundar, announced that Google was an AI first company. But certainly in the last year or two, it's really accelerated. Yeah. And so I look at it in a couple different dimensions. One is Google's investing truly in the full stack of everything from the infrastructure, from the chips, our TPUs, we also work with NVIDIA and GPUs, all the way into building models. I mean, certainly our Gemini models are world-class, as well as many of our other generative media models like VO and Lyria, and we have a number of great models, open source as well. Yeah. Then we've been working on the applications, like Gemini's built into Gemini Workspace, working on agents, and of course that's like the term everywhere here, agentic. Exactly. And so we've been building up and down the full stack, and then at the same time really building out horizontally with all of our partnerships. Now Gemini's getting embedded with many of our different partners. One of our newest announcements with Databricks recently, but of course all of the biggest ISVs. And so it's truly an incredible time, and to be a marketer in this time, to both be able to tell the stories of how all the our customers are using AI, and to be the user of AI ourselves. And it's really changing how all of the marketing is getting done. So I definitely feel like we're living at a particularly special point in time.
You know, it's interesting, at Google Next, your event, that first of all, your job is really hard now because you have so many value propositions to kind of like talk about. You can go speeds and feeds down into the supercomputer level with the TPUs all the way up to kind of some of the cool ease of use. But you look at Google Next, one of the things that jumped out at me was the simplicity of how you guys are offering to the customers, but under the hood, I heard terms like AI native inside Google, and which I took away as meaning you're using AI internally to the products like BigQuery and other examples where you're making AI better inside the product to enable the customers. That was one. And then the DeepMind, you mentioned that's a research you guys are applying, and it's not even applied research, it's direct contribution to the products.
Yes.
It's not like, hey, we're doing some cool research, there's save the world research, and then there's applied research, and there's like a new category of research vectoring into the products.
Yeah, no, I mean, like basically Demis and the DeepMind team are working on models all the time, and as the models become mature, like the Gemini 2.5 Pro or others, we make those available through Vertex to our customers, but we also take those models and integrate them into our products, you said, like BigQuery and others, so that every step of the way, our customers are able to use our AI. I mean, that's why at Next we announced we had over 500 customers building with our AI and seeing value from that now, like true ROI.
Yeah. It's interesting, that trend is translating into the market. I've multiple interviews I've done over the past year, and I kind of noticed it after Next, is that the most successful AI companies, your customers, and even you're starting to see VC firms like Databricks' original founding investor, Pete Sonsini, Loud Ventures, they got the research going on. People are building in-house research teams just to stay ahead to make sure that the models are there, so that's translating into the execution of the go-to-market for people serving AI, but also the customers are building research internally. How does that affect what you do? Because now you have to market, you're basically market research to research.
Well, it depends
Or
how
do
you
you agree
define
with that?
research. I mean, so there's very few companies that are truly building frontier models, like Google, and what we find is our customers research in terms of they are comparing and contrasting models day in, day out, and building an interface and being able to say, oh, Gemini is outperforming now. In fact, I was just talking to a friend who's the CEO of a startup, and she pinged me over the weekend and said, now we've switched everything over to Gemini. And so they're day in, day out, companies are building to determine what's best for them, and then are able to translate what they're learning into how they can put the AI into market and use for their own customers.
It's interesting, maybe it's better said, customer AI competency centers is one big trend. Quasi, I guess you're right, not true research, but like they have to kind of get their plans together. I mean, a lot of companies have to, it's complex, and the enterprise is a little bit more complex than say a straight builder. So it's very interesting. The thing that I want to also ask you is that we saw this year, the big surprise, that to me was a great surprise, was MCP. That was become a great protocol for in the agent world, because it's a rallying point. And now A2A, which you guys pioneered or drove a lot of that openness. I was talking to Jim Zemlin last night from the Linux Foundation. That's now going to be a major part of the Linux Foundation. So you got MCP and A2A working on key technology. And it seems like the builders are rallying around this, almost kind of like a de facto part of the stack. What's the buzz internally? How do you guys view this? What was the approach? Obviously open wins, we love open.
Yes. So using all of our TLAs, or three-letter acronyms, MCP, A2A. So we had announced both of those at Cloud Next in terms of our support for MCP, but also our announcement of A2A, so it's agent-to-agent protocol. And so that's enabling, as people are building agents, for example, our new product, Agent Space, they're building agents, but we want to ensure that those agents can interact with other companies, so that if Workday, for example, is building agents, or Oracle building agents, or any of the customer service now, that our agents can interact with each other in a secure way. And so that will enable all enterprises to scale much faster. So that certainly most enterprise companies use multiple types of ISV software providers, and we want to ensure that what we are building with Google Cloud, or companies that are building with Google Cloud, that those agents can work with each other. And so what we've built in is connectors using that protocol. And so we're seeing that already, even connectors with an agent space to Microsoft, so that companies can truly get value right away. And that's some of the most exciting parts of what we're seeing right now with AI.
And I think that builds on the heritage you guys have in data, because these little key features enable a lot of scale and also seamless integration. So that kind of brings me to my next question, which is, you know, I always say on theCUBE, platforms are great, but if you don't have an ecosystem, it's not really working. So one of the things that's near and dear to your heart as well as the ecosystem, you guys did a lot of work. What are some of the results? We saw some of the big names are doing very strong business with Google Cloud. Obviously the uptake on the entrepreneurial side, the startup and fast growing companies are Google Cloud. Explain what's going on in the ecosystem, just what the vibe is like, what some of the results are, and what your plans are.
So we look at the ecosystem in a really broad sense. So there's the SIs, and we're working with all of the global integrators. Then there's all of the, you know, so like the Accentures and Deloittes of the world. Then there's all of the ISVs that we're